With Prince Andrew's efforts to have Virginia Giuffre's lawsuit against him thrown out failing, the royals' legal team is teeing up a new, riskier strategy, painting Giuffre as a co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and a key player in maintaining the couple's global sex trafficking ring. The Times of London reports that Andrew's lawyers are specifically seeking sworn testimony from one of Epstein's alleged victims, Carolyn Andriano, who says that at only 14 years old, Giuffre recruited her and trained her in giving sexual massages. This new strategy is a big legal gamble, however, because Andriano also recently corroborated Giuffre's claims that she and Prince Andrew had sex when Giuffre was only 17 years old, something that Giuffre's lawyers will surely question Andriano about should she take the stand. So actually, she's the criminal, according to Randy Andy.
Well, how old, even if she did do that, how old, she was underage.
It straddled. At some point she was underage, and at some point she was of age.
Well, even if she trained this is just so disgusting, but trained the 14-year-old in how to pleasure him, she's underage. So what I don't think that's a crime if she's underage too. It's just gross and bad, but it's yucky. He's sort of going for a Patty Hearst. He's just like
type of argument. So Patty Hearst was kidnapped by the SLA, these like left-wing terrorists, and then was indoctrinated into their ideology, and became then one of them. Became a terrorist. Decided to join them. A lot of people were asking the question of, does this, was she coerced into that? So, and does the coercion, the kidnapping, and all of that mean that she wasn't actually using her agency in order, when she was acting out? So, but either way,
I don't see how this helps their kid.
Look, so what? Like, if her charge is true, he's still guilty.
Yeah.
Whether she did some other things
also
later.
Yeah. Right. It is not totally ridiculous that she was okay with this or going along with this at one point and then later regretted that, changed her mind about it, has reframed how she feels about it. I don't think that is totally beyond the realm of possibility.
Which is why the age is such an important factor there.
But it doesn't detract from anyone else's criminality.
Just because you brainwash a child, it doesn't get Prince Andrew off.
Right, and especially the age of consent doesn't matter. That is what age of consent means. That no matter how willing an accomplice or participant this person is, they are not capable of consenting because they're underage.
Yeah, seems rather clear.
Which is a zero tolerance distinction when these cases are normally handled and all across the board. So
interesting try.
In other Epstein news, Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers have hit a new road bump in her effort to overturn her felony sex trafficking conviction. In a letter last week, prosecutors implored the judge to make Maxwell's arguments for a new hearing public, directly pushing against the convicted felon's legal team in their request to keep those materials under wraps. As a reminder, Maxwell is seeking a new trial after one of her jurors revealed he had called on his past experience as a victim of sexual abuse during deliberations, which is something we've discussed on the show a couple times, and I think we both felt that if it is as it appears to be, you could see her getting a new trial based on this, which would be a slam dunk win for her. That's what she wants. A new trial would lower somewhat significantly the prosecution's likelihood of getting a conviction a second time.
Yeah, I don't see what's taking so long here.
It seems like an easy thing to check.
It's kind of
Does
open.
The questionnaire ask this or not?
Right.
Yeah.
What was the person's answer on the questionnaire? And is it true that this was so influential in the decision making of the jury? Like that?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's the judiciary. What are they, understaffed or something? Like, it just takes them
maybe
so incredibly long to.
They are understaffed, right?
I mean,
they're overworked. The docket is.
The criminal justice system just slams more and more bodies.
Do you think everybody's pleading guilty, so they have time for the trials of the people who don't just plead guilty, right? 90% of people are just saying, "Yep, I did it."
Right. If 20% of people would ask for a trial, the whole system would collapse.
It really would, right?
Yeah.
Another longtime associate of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is in the news. Former Victoria's Secret owner Leslie Wexner reportedly donated $250,000 to the Republican Governors Association in December of 2021 for further calling into question Epstein's far-reaching connections to the rich and powerful even years after his death. Wexner was one of Epstein's closest business partners, so close that Epstein gave Wexner power of attorney over his finances. It's not a job anyone wants. Wexner gifted Epstein his infamous $50 million Upper East Side mansion. The New York Times reports that in the 1990s, Wexner ignored warnings that Epstein was posing as a Victoria's Secret agent in order to lure young women into his sex trafficking ring. One alleged Epstein accuser, Maria Farmer, has also said that she was assaulted by the disgraced financier at an Ohio property owned by Wexner in 1996. The Republicans should probably return that money or donate it to a charity or something.
They should, and I think what they meant was that Wexner gave Epstein power of attorney over his finances. But that's the thing that's at the center of this that has so many people wondering what on earth was really going on here, because it makes so little sense. And so one of the speculations out there is that Wexner was somehow fronting for some type of intelligence agencies, because the idea that you would just give all of your money and your mansion to a former high school teacher to manage for no reason, it just makes so little sense that that's where all of the different conspiracy theories come in. And when I say conspiracy theories, I mean there was a conspiracy here. The question is, what was which conspiracy or conspiracies was it? Because we know that the surface thing of the Victoria's Secret guy just handing over all of his money to this teacher doesn't scan. Like that's not a thing. That's not how the world works. And then you have you have surveillance all over the guy's house. You have him making connections with all of the global elite. The idea that Wexner thought this had cooled down enough, because Wexner's not just a hanger-on to this circle. He's the central financier of this whole thing. So the idea that he thought it had cooled down enough that he could kick in $250,000 to the Republican Governors Association, and that would be cool, suggests that the impunity that the elite really does feel. Like, oh, I guess we can party again now, right? Like, Maxwell's guilty, Epstein's dead. Yeah. Everybody wants to go back to normal. Pandemic's over, the Epstein scandal's over, so he thinks he can get his back to normal.
They really just thought they could. I guess they are getting away with it. Some of them. We don't know the extent to which various people are involved. It's just a weird story. It's the kind of story you wouldn't believe.
No,
because usually extreme, crazy stuff turns out that there's some more plausible explanation that fits within, what generally how we understand the world to be. And this is one that falls so far outside expected behavior, just how the world works. Like you said, it's so far out of normal that it's hard to even process it.
Right. CEOs just don't hand over $50 million mansions.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of the D.B. Cooper case, the guy who jumps out of a plane and the only plane hijacking that is not explained, that you don't know who did it, that it cannot be figured out. There's a small number. XKCD, it's a great web cartoon I like. It has this funny cartoon of the axes with how mysteries, what happened to the Malaysian airplane, JFK assassination, JFK assassination is actually low now on the mystery. We basically do have it solved. It lists a bunch of things like that, or the Russian pass incident, the people who disappeared, the feet that keep washing up on that one beat. It's a really funny list of things, but the Zodiac, etc. This is like that level of weirdness.
And have we all agreed that it was Alan Dulles that killed Kennedy? Is that the...
that's where we landed on that? That was Ted Cruz. It was the elder Ted Cruz.
Is your theory that when Trump accused Ted Cruz's father of killing JFK, that he actually meant to accuse Jeb Bush's father, who was in Dallas that day, but he chickened out at the last minute? Because he actually might believe
it's a Gestapo Gazpacho kind of confusion.
Or he just shrunk at the last second. George H.W. Bush in Dallas that day, the biggest spook of the 20th century, the only man in America who does not remember, or he's passed on now, but when he was alive, he couldn't remember where he was when Kennedy was shot.
Oh, Ryan,
only guy in America.
Yeah.
Only guy in America. Everyone else knew where they were when they heard. He was like, what was I doing that day?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, was I in Dallas?
I didn't know that.
Oh, that happened in Dallas?
I did not know that.
Wow, interesting.
In my canon, it was the comedian from Washington.
We should just get Roger Stone on the show and ask him what Trump meant by that, because he'll just tell us, right?
Okay, well, we'll tell our bookkeeper. Roger, let us know.
We want to know. This is the only thing we want to ask.
I'm sure
you.
he'll come on if we do that.
Of course he would. Yeah, right. Roger, come on. This is the only. We just want to talk JFK.
All right, we'll work on that,
All right.
and we'll be back with more Rising in just a minute.